Hey guys, good morning. I apologize if you can hear the music in this video. The guys next door are jamming out, but this is the 5A discussion post video regarding designing a warm-up, and I chose to do that for the college sprint squad. And so really the warm-up is going to be tailored towards the sport specificity. So somebody who is on a sprinting team, a lot of lower body muscular endurance, and then having to create a rapid amount of force and power for a short amount of time. If they're sprinting, I don't foresee them doing long distance runs. So again, the warm-up is going to be designed to get them prepared for their practice, a competition, anything that's going to mimic the movement they're going to do either in their training after this warm-up or in a competition. So in the reading this week, they talked about how a warm-up should be designed with three main components. So aerobic exercise, like a warm-up to the warm-up. So for that one, I suggested having them jump on like an assault bike, something to get the blood pumping, the muscles heated up. And I'm not going to show you an assault bike, one, because it is next door in a loud room. But again, there really isn't a big technical part of an assault bike. You hop on, you bike, you get your blood pumping, you get your heart going, you get your muscles warm. So about 3 minutes of that, give or take. And then we move into the second part, which is stretching. So static stretching, or we'll move into dynamic too as well. But for the stretching, I wanted them to do three movements. The forward lunge to get, again, those lower body joints and muscles ready. The butterfly to stretch out the groin, and then a wall calf stretch. So I'll demonstrate the technique of those, and then I'll come back to talk about the last piece of that, the dynamic part of the warm-up. So a forward lunge, it's just going to be like alternating. It's not going to be like walking a distance. That'll be in the dynamic part of it, but this is just a simple forward lunge. So I'll do it from the side and then from the front so you guys can see it both ways. But from the side, you're going to have shoulder width apart. You're going to take one exaggerated step forward. Make sure that the knee stays in line with the toe. Make sure you guys can see it. Okay, and then I'm going to flex this back leg, this knee down. You need to go 1 to 2 inches. You can touch, and then drive back up through that front heel, and then move back before I begin the next one. It shouldn't be a rapid movement. It should be slow and controlled. Again, we're not looking for speed with this one. We're looking for good technical form, and we're looking to just get the muscles moving and warmed up. And then butterfly, just like it sounds, I'm sure a lot of us did this in gym class back in elementary school, but feet together, okay? Pull your feet in. You can rest your forearms on your knee, your shin, but you're just gradually pressing and holding for about 15 to 30 seconds. And then with this, just hold that again, and you can increase the range of motion. So you might start out, if this is like the second movement in the warm-up, you might start out with a smaller range of motion because your muscles are still tight, your joints aren't ready to work, and that sort of thing. And then the last one is the calf wall stretch. And okay, I'm gonna go find a wall in this gym. I'm gonna use the one right next to the door right here, and then I'll demonstrate it, but I guess I'll say it first so that way I'm not yelling across the room. But again, you're gonna stand in front of the wall, place your hands on the wall, your feet are gonna be shoulder width apart, and then you're gonna take 1 foot and step back. Okay, you're gonna slightly flex that front knee as you're trying to push the back foot's heel to the ground. So you should feel that stretch again in the calf. And you can start out with a smaller range of motion and then continue to increase that as you go through the stretch itself. But I'll go demonstrate it. All right, so that would be the stretching portion of this warm up. I would just have them go through it a few times just so that way, again, they are really warmed up and ready to go for the dynamic piece of this, which is the third part of the warm up. And this is the part that half and triplet said should mimic the workout that they're going to do next after this. So if a sprint team is doing this warm up before a practice, you know they're going to be sprinting, you know they're going to be building upon the skills that they need to compete, because I do believe it's college age. So you know, they might have a meet coming up where they need to practice you know, whatever it is that they are going to, the event that they're gonna do. And also there should be about 5 to 10 reps of each of these 3 movements that I have. There is a walking lunge for 50 feet, there's an inchworm for 10 reps, and then a walking knee lift for 50 feet as well. And I have them going through that set, well, I guess that round, 3 times through. And in each of the rounds should be progressively increasing with range of motion as well as the speed, but that shouldn't compromise proper form. You know, we don't want to speed through it just to say that I increase my speed, but increase my risk of injury because I'm not keeping that proper form. Okay? And the motion shouldn't have the ballistic or the bouncing component to it. They should still be controlled, even when you are speeding up and even when you are increasing your range of motion. So again, the first one, I'm going to have them do a walking lunge for 50 feet. I'm not going to show you 50 feet in here, but again, it's very similar to that forward lunge, except you're walking forward and not just staying in one spot. So I'll go over that one more time. Okay, so from the side, they would keep the torso up, chest tall. As they step forward, drop this back knee down, back up, move it right next to the other foot, and then repeat it. But again, that torso should be kept straight up. Don't let the back round, and don't let that knee valgus happen. So either the knee caving in or the knee going over the toe. Again, we want to make sure those athletes are staying safe with proper form. So again, 50 feet for a walking lunge, and then an inchworm. It's a good a dynamic warm up to kind of get those hip flexors ready. And again, I think that it gives you a good stretch too in your lower body. But the athlete starts with hip width or shoulder width apart, feet, and then you just create a V with your body. So you place your hands on the floor in front of you, and then inchworm or walk out with your hands until you're in a push-up position, and then your feet follow your hands in the same fashion. So you're kind of crawling across the gym or across you know, the grass outside, whatever it is, wherever the environment is that the athletes will be performing this. But I have them do 10 reps of that, so 10 inchworms, and I'll just demonstrate one of them. I forgot to mention that with an inchworm, your knees can be slightly flexed. That might just be a limit of flexibility like mine. I know that they were flexed because I'm not as flexible as what I would like to be. And then the third dynamic movement would be a walking knee lift for 50 feet. So again, I'll verbally demonstrate, or verbally tell you that, and then I'll demonstrate it. But they start again with feet shoulder width apart, and then you move whatever leg you want to start with up. So you would bring it up to your chest, and then use your arms to kind of squeeze it and hold it, and then release. And again, this shouldn't be something that you fly through. Again, it's more quality over quantity. And then just repeat that with whatever leg you didn't start with, okay? I did it in a static position, but I would have them just do that for a 50-foot walk, just to get that quality movement in. The last piece of the discussion post, how would I change this or do differently if I chose a different case study? So either the baseball player or the swim team. The main part of it is the specificity of it would change, because a baseball player is going to be more upper body. You're going to want to get those joints, the shoulder joints, ready and warm, as well as I think probably more of the torso, especially if you're dealing with all the different positions. Like the torso is a huge part of their positions, along with their upper body and lower body. So you'll be doing more of a full body warm up. And same thing with the swimmer. I would be more concerned about warming up my shoulder.